It's the motherfucking Nerd Rap podcast, and I had to bring attention to Dope MC. Salute to my man H. Owens, man. He definitely plugged me into a rapper who you do that shit I do that I like, man. V1000, man. You kick that shit I like, man. Introduce yourself, bro, man. Tell people where you from, and the whole nine.
Provokah, what's going on? Thank you for having me. I'm Provokah, 845 NY. They usually confuse me with NYC because I've been living here for I've been living in NYC for like the past 4 or 5 years since before COVID, but my origins are 845 NY. Um just a conscientious MC. I just love details and bars. I love hearing it from other people. I get inspired by those who take the time and put love and, actual thought into their lyrics. So,
Yeah,
Nerd Podcast seems like a fitting place to be.
you about the balls. See, I'm about the balls. So that's why I like your style. I like what you do, man. I wanna
Thank you, brother.
Nah, but definitely I'm big on that as well, man. I love the lyricism, man. I was listening to the project too. Definitely was peeping the joint about webs. Getting into that. I was catching Spider-Man's the Spider-Man verse references, man. And just what
Right.
what what was your inspiration as an MC? What really pushed you for that style of rap? Cause that style of rap real particular, that 90s boom bap type of style. Like what what attracted that to you the most? That makes sense.
Well, well, when I well the first record I remember I was like 3 years old. My brother was playing Black Sheep, The Choice Is Yours.
Yeah.
And he recalls like me just going around the house talking about engine number nine on the New York Transit line like all the time. And as I got a little older into before adolescence, I was a huge Big L fan.
Oh,
Um
oh shit.
and I was not like, if you ever saw the movie Dope, I was like the guy, I was like the kid in Dope. Like I was running around with 90s mixtapes and stretching Bobito tapes, and it was like
Nah.
2002, 2003, because I there was artists out there that were dope, but I wasn't really feeling it until I ran into like Lupe, Royce, Elzai, Skyzoo, like those,
The
like the,
rappers.
yeah, that club. So that's when I started to kind of backpedal and see what I missed because I was so disinterested. So yeah,
Yeah.
but Most Def, Tribe Called Quest, you know, those were, the whole like Soulquarian movement back in,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
me. So
The
I got
common to liquids, all that
yeah,
shit. Yeah.
Black Thought, all that. Like that was the roots. Like that was sort of, my jump start and my inspiration to it.
And I definitely fuck with that for real, man. I definitely fuck with that reverence to what came before, because I feel like hip hop a lot of the times kind of disregards the past because we're so focused on the future, but what came
Right.
before sets the precedent for what's coming
Mhm.
after. So so what are you generally just not a fan of how this new emphasis on what we value in rap is compared to where it was just about the bars?
I definitely think we've de-emphasized bars for corporate gain, for monetary gain, for we got, the A&Rs are not here. Nobody's breaking an artist. Nobody's Everybody is focused on data as opposed to focusing on the talent first. And how do you develop that talent to get to the end result, which is making a profit. We don't know how to take people as they are as an artist and then take them to the next level. So I definitely think there's an emphasis on just dumbing us down and just feeding us,
Bull.
for lack of a better term, bullshit into the
Hmm.
algorithm. You know what I mean? And I always, to me, I remember the common line is like, If I don't like it, I don't like it. I don't mean that I'm hating. I just focus on what I like and sort of just delve into that. There's a lot of dope artists out here in the underground and in
Yeah,
other spaces that I can listen to as opposed to harping on what I don't like. So
right.
that's kind of what I focus on, and I try to elevate those that I feel as though are in the same category as me or have the same type of mindset as me as far as like elevating the art and sticking to its tenets and its principles.
I like that. I do like the fact that there's more of a focus on the science of rap. Like I always felt like when it comes to lyricists are like martial artists. You know what I
Yes.
mean? You took you took language and then you perfected a style of expressing language in a rhythmic way, syllables, hyperboles, metaphors, flow, all
Mm-hmm.
that come together in perfect harmony. And how
Mm-hmm.
you express your science is how you express your science. And I feel
Yeah,
like lyricists, have to understand hip hop to such a level to even be able to push lyricism to a point.
absolutely.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? And so
Mm-hmm.
me personally, I like your style because I appreciate lyricism, and I feel like lyricism in hip hop is what I came to hip hop for, is the lyricism. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you told me the influence of the Big L, the big influence. But what was that moment when you was like, yo, I got a gift for this? Like, what was that point where you knew this is just the shit you supposed to be doing as far as like this particular, style of rapping?
Well, I really got back into it. I want to say around like 2014, 2015. Like I was always rapping,
Okay.
recording. My people, we were trying to figure it out, but I really hadn't developed coming to my own yet.
Right.
So one day, it was a bunch of us. I was at Cole's Warehouse. Went to over in Worksboro, which is like by Monticello, upstate New York. So they was like, "Yo, you want to come to the studio with us?" I was just supposed to be sitting in, right?
Yeah.
So, but I already like had songs written or whatever, and this is like my first time recording in like a professional studio. So I knocked out like they gave me maybe a half hour, and I knocked out like 3, 4 songs. And the engineer was like, "So this wasn't your session?" I was like, "Nah." He was like, "Well, could have fooled me.
Mm,
Like
mm, mm.
these are dope. This is dope. Like what you're doing." And that's when it clicked. Like, oh, okay, maybe I got something here. And then from then on, I just started going back and started refining and started studying because I feel like, like we talk about martial arts, and I feel like sharpening your blade also depends on, the diet you intake as far as your daily life, what you read, what you
Yeah.
eat, the conversations you have, the company you keep. So I feel as though my style is also like commiserate with how I live. Because if I'm not living right, I feel like my lyricism isn't gonna be right.
My mind
So
ain't gonna be sharp enough.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, the
Yeah.
blade the blade isn't gonna be sharp enough. So I always feel like I have to, indulge myself in the best experiences possible for my mind, body, and spirit in order
I like
to
that.
be a competent MC out here. So yeah, that was definitely the moment where I was just like, all right, so let me see where this is going for me.
It always surprised me too, cause I used to meet people when rapping and shit, and it was always the person like, nah, I had a homeboy, we ain't cool no more, but I could tell the narrative. It was always I always just appreciated people talent, and my man's always appreciated what he can get out of people.
Right.
And when I was around people in the studio, all I respected was the work. Like if we get in the studio, motherfuckers that go in there record 10 to 15 times and they get 15 songs done every session. I like those guys. I like them. I like we here to do business. We here to
Right.
get work done. Like because this what this is. This work. Like we having fun. Don't get it confused. We might
Mhm.
burn one in the studio, but it's about business. So do you feel it's like what do you feel has separated you from other MCs that you feel maybe trying to carve out a similar lane? Um, what is it that you feel sticks out with what you do? Like,
I want to say the output of album, like the output of work, as you say, like the EP that I recorded, that was a 1 day. I recorded 2 EPs in within like a 5 hour session and had more to go. So I always feel like I'm not competing with other people as far as bar work or whatever. I'm competing with the work, the effort, the attention to detail, the craft. Like that's what I'm competing with. And I always look for inspiration for those in a way to be like, all right, they're working, I gotta get to work. You know,
yeah,
I gotta stay sharp. I gotta hold my end up because I feel as though we use the term gatekeeping in such a negative light. And how I understand gatekeeping is keeping the art form to its tenets, to its purest form, and making sure those that are doing it are putting their best foot forward. And I feel like that's how we got a lot of bullshit in the door in the first place, is that we let too many opinions, you got your Twitters, your Instagram, we let too many opinions into hip hop that don't give a damn about hip hop. They just
yes.
talking to hear themselves speak.
We have a lot of socio-political opinions in hip hop that don't
Right.
really care about the culture of hip hop
Nah,
at
nah.
all.
No, they don't. They don't. The socioeconomic, like they have lived no socioeconomic plight to where they can understand where these origins are coming from. So that from their understanding, they're looking at it from an ivory tower, and there are no experience that they can harken back to actually connect with hip hop. You understand what I'm saying? So
Right.
my thing is I always want to compete with the work because I love hearing other people. Like I love when people be like, yo, I'm putting out 2 albums this I'm putting out 2 albums in a month, or I'm putting my number is like I'm gonna put out 7 albums this year and they're all great quality. That's
Yeah.
when you're working, and that inspires me to get up and be like, all right, let me put my best foot forward
So,
and
so,
see where
so how many projects you got out in total?
ooh, I want to say 11 right now.
Oh, then he sent me the joint with the webs and just the blur, and I listened to that project, for the
Yeah,
interview. I want to have your style fresh in my head when I came to talk to you about it. But 11
right.
projects, bro. Shit, nigga, I thought about working motherfuckers. I only got 5.
Yeah, man.
So I was like, hey, hey,
Nah, man,
you working,
I'm
bro. Like you working. And
thank appreciate you.
oh, I respect the hustle. You come from the street, you respect the hustle. You respect niggas grind before
Right,
everything else. You know what I mean?
right.
And I do. You touched on a point there. I don't want to go to drafting the political thing, but I do want to ask that question about hip hop in general. You seem like a traditionalist, so I do want to
Mhm.
ask too. Do you feel like um hip hop gets unfair criticism when we're just a reflection for society, or do you feel like hip hop is a contribution to certain things just in general? You don't have to be a super protracted answer, but you hear it a lot of times. They try to blame hip hop. Oh, hip hop's the reason for violence, and it, do we blame hip hop or society? That's what I want
I
to ask.
mean, I mean, if we're gonna blame anything on violence, America in and of itself, in its origins, started from violence. Like, how did quote unquote America, quote, I say quote unquote because I don't want to go too deep within it.
I
How did
understand.
they, how did they get their freedom? Violence. How did they, you know what I'm saying? How did we talk about the triangle trade with uh with Africa, with the Dutch and everything else, where there was indigo trade, there were weapons traded,
Don't get started about that trade, bro. About
and,
violence.
and, and there was a tribal war, right? And we were fighting, and there was tribalism with that. And who had the guns? The Europeans, right? Our whole so before us and before our music and the reflection of the environment that we are speaking about, there was violence bereft in America
Yeah,
and in Europe and everywhere else. So,
I
but all
always I
go
always wanted
back.
to. I apologize about that too. I just always wanted to ask. You're the first rapper I could ask that question and gave me like Oh, nah, dog, no, dog, the mindset.
Mhm.
We ain't gonna do that in this podcast. We say that for another time.
Right,
But
right. Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
know and you know that a lot of the
Hmm.
times we use hip hop as the excuse to try to criticize black people as a
Absolutely.
whole. So I
Uh-huh.
do like that answer because I feel hip hop does get unfair criticism for violence when we only can speak on the reality that's already present. You know what I mean? Like we can condemn the exploitation of certain black people in hip hop all day. You know,
Yes,
that's a different conversation. So I do
absolutely.
appreciate that. I do appreciate that
Absolutely.
as well. And
I
speaking on
just
that,
want to.
go ahead,
I
go
just
ahead, go
want to.
ahead.
I just want to add to that. If we're speaking about violence in hip hop, we're speaking about the corporatization and the pushing of a violent narrative to sell records and to draw revenue. That is what is pushed within hip hop, and that is where it gets its negative connotation from. Because if it ain't violent, it's not going to make money. You understand what I'm saying?
There we
Positivity
go.
does not sell.
There it goes. It's not the conversation of why black people don't make more than just secular music. Why is it that y'all only want black music when it promotes destruction? That is the
Exactly.
bigger question.
Exactly.
And I love that point because you brought up the underground too. And I listen to underground music. Salute to my bro, Dylan. He's the reason I met H2 Owens. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but he put an album together. He's into the underground. So I'm listening to underground rappers like make boom bap, alternative rock, music
Mm-hmm.
I never thought niggas was making. But then when you get on the
Right.
internet, mad niggas is making normal rap music. You got the Denzel Currys, Isaiah Rashad, you had Jadania to do with Classic Man. You had a bunch of
Yeah.
guys who came out and gave us an alternative to just the trap shit.
Right.
And so I your answer was life, bro. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. I appreciated the answer.
Like,
So going forward, man. What do you think was your like magnum opus, hip hop wise? Like, what do you think out of all your projects? Like, yeah, this that shit right here. Like, if I don't get signed, this is my Illmatic.
oh man, that's so. I there's something about this project called "Can I Rap for You" that I created in the pandemic that I feel like, and I've made many albums after it, but the essence of it and the space I was in, and "Can I Rap for You" was a concept album talking about the underground, and it was a homeless man in the train station, which was a metaphor for the underground, and he just going around asking people, "Can I rap for you?" There's a narrator there. I got skits throughout. It's funny, it's witty, it's intelligent, and it just spoke on a myriad of topics, right? And I feel like if you ever wanted like an introduction to my music, or it was like, what do you feel like your best album is? It's always "Can I Rap for You" for
Hey,
me.
when we're done this, I'm gonna get your info. I'll talk to you personally. Send me that joint. I want to hear that. That's creative.
Got you.
I do love that type of stuff in hip hop, and I feel like, what do you think the game really needs to do? Because is it do we need to change how hip hop? Because I don't think it's ever gonna go back to just the straight '90s, but I do
Right.
notice that we're more embracing hip hop having multiple subgenres these days than we ever
Mm-hmm.
have before. So,
Right.
do you feel how people say, oh, hip hop is dead, or do you feel that there are just fine lines drawn in the sand?
I feel as though it's in some instances, I don't want to be absolute about it, but I feel like it's the posers versus the ones who really make music. So the rappers versus the MCs.
Yeah. Okay.
And I feel like once again, the corporations will push out the rappers for corporate gain. And I feel like a lot of the MCs are in the underground. And I think at some point they're going to need us, because it's a wash and repeat type thing, and people are getting tired and people are getting bored, especially from the reactions. And because I'm outside, like I'm at open mics, I'm at shows, I'm here, I'm at these events. I'm seeing a lot of. There was actually a show I was going to with like ST and Stove God that got shut down in the Bronx, and it was a huge crowd, and it made and I didn't make it. I was supposed to go, I didn't make it. I was
Yeah,
traveling at the time, but it made me feel like okay, there is an ear for this, and people want this, and people can make a living off of hip hop. And what's about to happen is there's about to be a shift in people's sensibilities and people's need for music. That's why
yeah.
I feel like I put out as much music as possible because when it finally does hit, a lot of us can say we have catalog,
It,
not just us just saying some bullshit. We have catalog
catalogs of quality work that
of
push
quality
come to
work.
shove, I can stand on and say, hey, this is
Exactly,
quality
exactly.
work.
Exactly. And I think that's the shift. If you know a lot of I see a lot of underground artists, there's 5+ projects a year and it's shifting. And a lot of these people, for example, right? There was a I'm sure you're familiar with Danny Brown, and
I know I know Danny Brown. Yeah.
yeah, Danny Brown, I forget the other guy's name. But they had an album called Scaring the Hoes. There was a showcase. We also, a lot of us on Twitter in the Twitter community put out, shout out to my boy Know It All and my other homie Happy. They put out a showcase called Scaring the Hoes. Now, the coincidence was how close they were. So it's like, who's paying attention to who? You understand what I'm saying? And maybe and it's been said, but I feel like I'm one of the first people to say it. Like this publicly in an interview forum. I feel like a lot of people are looking to the underground for ideas. They're paying attention. They just don't want to give it credit. They peek in
Yeah.
like, oh, I mean, peek in the doorway,
Yeah.
like, oh, see how it is, and
No,
then be like,
I
and then
believe that.
try to maintain that hierarchy
I,
that
I'm,
that
I believe
music
that, bro.
is.
I've been
Yeah.
on Instagram. You ever be on your stories and out the blue, you're posting clips of your raps, bro. You might have been going off. You start getting
Right.
like mad niggas with blue check marks and checking your stories out, and they're
Mhm.
watching every story. They don't
Mhm.
like nothing, don't comment
Right.
on nothing, but they're
Right.
watching it, bro. But it was Cassidy and Chubby Jag watching every post I put out for
Right.
2 months,
Right.
and I'm like,
Right.
I don't got no followers, and I'm like, shit, man. It did me some good. Just one little like.
and and and
But
and a lot of times what they want is the energy. They miss that energy to where they don't have to be pigeonholed to something. They miss the energy. They love our energy that we're so free. We don't have no deadlines to drop. Ain't nobody, we ain't got to turn into masters. We got an engineer on deck that we can sit with and build and everything else. So I feel as though I feel as though who's holding up the integrity is the indie scene of all types, the indie rock scene, the
I,
indie hip hop scene,
I
and
think the
I
indie
feel as though
scene.
it's on this transition.
I feel I agree. I feel because we had the writer strike, the actor strike. We're gonna have the video game actor strike soon is coming because people ain't being paid. The reality of what's gonna happen is that poor people who have to want to still listen to music, they still like artwork. Are you gonna go support big wigs who need artists that live next to you to support it? Or are we just finally realizing that we could just support artists that we like? Like I don't need to go support the most popular artists on the radio. But there's a dude, say you, for example, you got projects out. You live right down the street from me. You put mixtapes out every day. Damn, bro, I need a new rapper to listen to. My man dropped a mixtape down the street yesterday. Go
Right,
listen to your man down the like. What do you have to lose but to listen to
right,
somebody for an hour and
right,
a half?
right,
I put your John on. I may go in here and just go wash the dishes, have your tape playing, but you still got the listens on on the algorithm. This still count. The album still got played. I still heard the music. You feel what I'm
right.
saying? But it's just
Mhm.
the principle. If I'm gonna listen to an artist who I don't know, who does nothing for me, they're not from my community. They don't serve my interests. They don't speak to me. But say you rap in your neighborhood, and I think you dope. So if I know some other niggas think you dope, but I know it's more dope because you're somebody around them in their scene making
Mhm.
music. You feel me? It's like the indie scene's always gonna just be more pure because like I tell the homies all the time, like this is the best music's ever gonna be for us with no money.
Mhm.
Because when the money comes and we're obligated to make drops, and now it's no longer for us, but now it's for others' interests. It's not about the
Mhm.
art anymore. It's about the business.
And hence why I say the catalog is important, because if they do catch on to you while you're hot and you've been consistently making the same music, they have to make a decision. Do I want to dilute this product that I just paid money for, or I'm just gonna let this person rock because he or she got on by their own merits? Like they didn't have to sell out. They didn't follow some formulaic
Yeah,
drop. I'm gonna drop first quarter, second quarter. Like, and I understand there's a science to everything, but don't lose the science of music trying to follow the science of releasings and algorithms and all that. Some people would love for you to just release the music
but just
and
put
let
it
other
out.
people focus on that. Yeah. Let the
I,
people decide.
I felt like this is why I say it like this because Nas said a post where he's seeing a lot of the '90s rappers dropping albums again. You got the AZs, the Lloyd Banks, and me. This is how I feel about it. We're in an era where people want what they want. People want the music that appeals to them. So like, huh? Go ahead, make sure your stuff is done. All right, so this is how I always feel about it. Oh, all right, we got about 10 minutes. All right, so we touched on base. I want to ask a few more points what you got coming up next. But I feel at the end of the day, very smart brother by the way. Thought Provoker definitely is a name that sticks true. Um but I feel with that perspective of us knowing that, I feel like we as rappers, you specifically, the power's in your hands. The power's in your hands right now because us poor people are tired of paying people with more money than us who don't care about us for things that we can get from other poor people like us. Like
Right.
we can find a producer. Like we don't have to spend millions of dollars to make quality music anymore. And we don't even
Absolutely.
and the thing is, what I found out too, with Lloyd Banks, we dropping these albums and they may not be mixed the best, or J. Cole dropped KOD, it wasn't mixed. We don't give a fuck about it sounding as professional as possible. We just want the fucking music. I'll listen to some unmixed music if it's good music.
Right.
I don't
Right.
care. Like I don't care. I've listened to some shit that I know is mixed terribly, but I like the
Mhm.
music, so I'm going to keep listening to the music.
Right.
And
Right.
so
Absolutely. Absolutely. I definitely dig your point on that, man. It's about the music. It's about the art. It's about the creation. And it's about what you like, man. It's about finding something that speaks to your spirit
exactly.
as a human being. That's
Yeah,
what it means.
that's how I feel, and I love the energy you brought as well. I love the energy, man. It's life. Like I'm here to create. Like that's what artists do. We're here to create. And I do want to ask, 11 projects you in. It seemed like you not slowing down either. So what
Mhm.
are the next projects you got lined up? Like what are some concepts you've been playing with, just music wise? Like what you got in store, man?
All right. So at the end of the month, I got something called Thought Patterns, and I'm also dropping another EP in October, untitled at this point. I have two big projects coming at the end of the year. One is Windows to the Soul.
Windows
Got a
to the
lot of
soul.
dope features on there. And then the grand finale, which I alluded to earlier, Can I Rap For You? This is Can I Rap For You Again? With a great friend of mine, my little brother, as I call him, Dumbo. We're gonna reprise this concept where now we're getting to the point where this underground rapper may have he hasn't reached superstardom, but he's reached a point where he's recognized. He may not have 10,000 followers. He may have 3,000. He may get a little money at the door, You know what I mean, for the performance. He headlining now, but he's having this imposter syndrome or whatever he feels. He's bigger than his bridges. He want VIP at the open mic. I don't sit with them. I'm sitting at the lounge
Yeah,
over here. You know
you
what I'm
know
saying?
them guys at the open mic, man. They feel they're the best nigga here. No one got paid to be here.
Yeah, right. Those people. So what I'm speaking to, right? Exactly. And I feel like in our space is so relatable that you see the person who like doesn't mess with the community anymore. So
Yeah,
or the woman in general. So what I want to speak to is never forgetting where you came from and remembering your humble beginnings, a sense of humility, and remember that those people you catch going up ain't gonna be the same people you catch going down. So remember those people who bought your CD for $5.99, bought your tapes, bought your merch, shared all your stuff, reposted your stories with your middle
right.
finger. Remember those people and never act like you're too good
To
to
be back.
interact or to like or shun your fans or shun your day one supporters. And I see so much of that, and I want to speak on that because I feel like it becomes a huge problem in the
Bro,
indie circuit and
yeah.
underground.
I'm gonna agree to that 1 million, bro. Cause I was in Savannah rapping for some years, so like I could say just being in
Right.
that area, bro. Like, bro, in that indie scene, man, especially when you start getting love from a room, you know the vibe. You in the room shaking that shit, like that everyone's coming to talk to you and do that in the
Right.
third. But
Right.
it's a confidence booster, but it's humbling because like, bro, ain't none of us in here rich and famous, bro. None of us in
Mhm.
here got no big bag, and none of us, everyone in here just loves making music. We're fans of music, and hey, we can't go see a big performance, but we can see each other. So when you're doing
Mhm.
something in here, and to these people, you're a star, bro. Like you may not be a star to a million other people. These people, they may think you're a star.
Right.
That's an honor to me. That's a
Right.
lot of artists take that for advantage when people want to spend money on your mixtape. People want to hear you perform. When you're rapping, people singing the songs, hearing music, bro. No one knows who you are, man. And instead of being grateful that
Mhm.
people are embracing you for nothing,
Right.
it's yeah, I'm that nigga now. I'm headlining the open. You know what I mean? It's like, yo,
Right.
they want you to win, bro. You don't gotta throw that in their face.
Right. Right.
I'll
Right.
I'll battle rapping and I'll battle. We'll go to Fayetteville. We went to the league first year we started, but we got the bigger leagues when we went there. Trapping wild with the bigger league, bigger plays, big opportunities. But if they call me from back in the day and say, "Hey, we want you to come to a card," I don't shoot my nose up to y'all because I've been to bigger platforms. Because before them bigger platforms called me, y'all were paying me first.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? It's like when I- artists shoot themselves in the foot, and yeah. Yeah, sorry about that.
No,
I didn't mean to rant.
no. You could because, and that is the type of feeling. That's the type of feeling I want people to understand. I feel like this is going to be for my fans, but it's also going to be for artists in the community as well because they understand. Like they get that they get the gravitas that you
Apple
can
juice,
have
put
towards
some water.
just towards the gravitas you can have for yourself. Like you can
Right.
just and you could just dummy out in your own ego. And I use this as a cautionary tale because I'm gonna tell it like a narrative, like a story, like a chapter book, and it's gonna be the descent of a rapper who didn't you know take care of his blessings and take care of those who took care of him. So, it's definitely a cautionary tale to my fellow artists that, do the work, love this,
Mm.
love this shit, and remain humble.
Yeah,
And
just
that,
love it. Like I love that, bro. I love that more than anything. I think you one of the few rappers I ever talked to that ever just got it, bro. Like we're here to some of these people, man. Hip hop is the one thing that gives them peace, purpose,
that
and
mm-hmm,
they here to enjoy it, bro. And you do
mm-hmm,
the shit they enjoy, and these people coming to you, they shaking your hand. bro, I ain't
Hmm.
saying you gotta be their best friend. I'm not saying that to strangers. What I'm saying is, bro, be receptive of that. Like when these people come and show you love at your shows, artists, like give them a hug. Go shake
Hmm.
their hand, like dap them up, like yo, you're fire. Like don't be bougie to these people. Like they came to you with open hearts to show their love for your craft. I ain't saying you owe them anything, but it's just human decency. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
It's like, yo, I think you're fire, bro. You're talented. You're awesome. I know that. Fuck you, bro. Like, you know what I
Right, 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 right,
mean?
right, right.
It's
And
like, damn.
that's the skit right there. That's a skit right there. Like,
Yeah, it's like I've done that with artists. I'll come like, yo, man, I think you're talented, bro. It'd be like, yeah. It's like first and foremost, dog. Like I'm an artist too, but I'm not competing with you. Like, there's no proverbial top to get to, bro. Anyone can eat. It's just
right,
the
right.
arrogance.
Talk to my manager type shit. Here's my card. Here's my music.
Your your man,
Here's my email here.
your
You know what I'm
manager,
saying?
bro. Like we work at the same job. You feel me?
Right, right. There you go. We clocking at the same time, brother. Like I done,
But
we on that assembly line together, right?
but I want to say this, bro. We got about a minute left, man. This was far more entertaining than I expected it to be. Love your energy. Thought provoker, incredibly fire. Where can they find you before it cuts off on me? And just let them know where you can
Um,
go.
Thought Provoker on Instagram, Thought Provoker on Twitter. Find me on TikTok, same place, Facebook, Thought Provoker, all platforms. So appreciate you for having me, brother. Thank you.
It was an honor to have you here, man, in the Nerd Rap Podcast, man. Thought provoker. Check him out on all platforms.